I like never get sick. And it's like, people are like, how does it never happen? You're never sick. I'm like, well, because I drink alcohol every day. It sanitizes your system. Salt water and bourbon cures everything.
Welcome to the Tip the Scales podcast, where we discuss running and growing your law firm. I'm your host, Maria Monroy, president and co-founder of LawRank. Today, I am joined by Planetfunbob.
Thank you for having me. Planetfunbob at your service.
Thank you for coming on. What do we talk about? Let's recap.
We talked about Medieval Maria. We talked about Big Oil Bob. We talked about personal branding. We talked about conference circuit, Law-Di-Gras. We talked about the attorney share marketplace. We talked about pranks that we played in high school with my twin brother that almost got us expelled from several schools. What else did we talk about?
I think you covered it. Do you want to do all my intros? Bob Simon.
Abogado por la gente.
Are you?
Sí, por supuesto.
Wow. Where did you learn Spanish, Bob?
En la escuela.
En la escuela. Okay, perfecto.
4 años en la escuela.
I'm not used to this. I don't know how I feel about this. Can we switch to English? I have a question for you.
Okay.
So a lot of people ask me, like, why is Bob so nice? Is he for real? Like, there has to be an ulterior motive. Like, he's like too nice and chill.
I genuinely love people.
I don't think some people don't believe it.
I don't know. But then people like, we were out last night and this guy was like, I never met before, but like, I talk to him on DM all the time on Instagram. He's like, holy shit, you're like a real person. Like, you're as nice as advertised. Like, yeah, because I generally enjoy company. Like, my dad's actually off scene right now, off camera. And he always taught me just be nice to everybody. He's the same thing. We laugh and just like being around people. The rest of our family, a lot of introverts, but we're definitely the extroverts.
Yeah, I think I tell everybody the same thing every time. I'm like, Bob is like who he is. Like, he's legit. Like, there's nothing behind it. Like, it's just who he is.
But if I don't like you, I don't like you.
There's
some people that I think are crooks or creeps. And
I know. I'm aware. You and I bond over that shit.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, we don't have anything to talk about.
Nada.
No. Let's talk about Law-Di-Gras, because I'm super excited about it because it's going to be a little bit different this year.
Yeah.
So tell us what's different.
So it's actually an idea that you spawned for Law-Di-Gras from not talking like down to people at the panels, but rather with them and do a lot of workshops. You know, and I think we've always been big on making everybody better and making like that human connection. Like, we've done the Bourbon Approved Tour before. It was only about networking. So I wanted to like create this conference to make it about networking and education and make that paramount. Because, you know, we're here in San Diego, it's beautiful outside. It's a music festival conference. So people like to be outside. It's not like they're constantly going to go conference room at a hotel for a seminar, right? They're outside, they're doing stuff, they're building community. So no better way to do it. And like, I just pick 6 categories that I think are interesting for people, and they kind of create their own adventure as to what they want to see. It's like, you want to do marketing/media, which I think you're spearheading that one. Yep. We have technology, AI. We have trial lawyer courses. We have health and wellness, which is actually a lot of people are interested in it, believe it or not. I don't believe it. But
I was surprised by how many men were interested. I was like, Bob, no guy's going to sign up for this. And then you proved me wrong.
Yeah. Like Dan Shar is actually one of the captains of that. And
Crazy. I want to sign up. Like, I need to be able to take a break during whatever I'm doing because I do want to go to that one.
You can. And we set it up so you could stagger and you can go back to, It's like you won't be able to miss something because you're doing a workshop on something similar at different times.
Perfect.
So it's like, you know, because he had like I think it was like a brain aneurysm or some sort of, he caught a medical, like something that could have killed him early because he's into a lot of preventive medicine and he's big on that stuff. And then he actually turned me on to the same clinic that we go to for preventive medicine, as you can tell from my stellar Adonis-like physique.
I mean, your breakfast was just so healthy. Gin and bacon.
That's how wars were won. I think that's how the Romans conquered most of Europe, was gin and bacon.
Do you think about the Roman Empire often?
I never do. That's actually a weird question. And I asked Ryan Steiger this, one of my friends, and he actually thinks about it every day, and he went into detail. I was like, there's 0 times a day, unless I'm watching like Gladiator or something. Oh, actually, my kids like this new show. You should listen. It's a podcast called Greeking Out. Have you heard of this?
No.
There's like 9 Greeking Out, and they go over like this fun Greek mythology.
Ooh, I like this.
We put it on in the car for drives with the kids, and they are quiet and they listen and they know like the Greek people's names. They're talking about Odysseus because there's a whole season about the Odyssey, and they were like, "What's Odysseus going to do next?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let's tune in."
That's really cool. I'm gonna text them because they have been listening to a soccer podcast, so they are starting to get into podcasts. Now, I'm excited about this workshop. I don't know, method, or I don't know, this approach, because I think that Law-Di-Gras has some of the best networking and definitely the best entertainment. So now add this component to where people feel like they're really getting something really meaningful out of it. And I think it's like you've hit on the 3 components that I think matter the most for a successful conference. The other thing that I think matters is like location and venue, right? Yeah. And San Diego's great. And the venue's perfect for a festival. Like it's just perfect. And it's my favorite conference.
That's my favorite too. It is a lot. I mean, people don't realize there's a lot of work. Like it occupies a lot of my time.
I know. Last year I did the business of law track, and I told you, I was like, this was not what I signed up for. It was one tiny little thing.
Yeah, and because it started as something we just did for fun the first year, just to bring our community together and have a fun conference. And like the whole thing is give people the opportunity that are really good at what they do, but they're not like an established name. The old guard would dominate the conferences, and they talk about the same shit every single time. And it's like, well, these young people have a lot of good ideas. They're doing things differently. And it's like, why not give them the mic, give them the opportunity? And that's kind of like the first genesis of it. And now it just has a whole mind of its own. So yeah, I'm pumped. And a lot of people are bringing their families this year. I know
I thought about that because it's actually Chloe's birthday.
Oh, nice. She would love the entertainment this year.
She's so little though.
Could Chloe's 5?
She'll be 7.
7. Oh, perfect. I think we're going to bring our 7.
That's what you said last time, and you didn't.
We didn't, but it's because I had a lot of responsibility last year. This year, it took a lot of the operational stuff off.
Because you guys partnered with NTL.
Yes. So NTL, the Lamb team, is doing a lot. They're fantastic, and they're great. They're great. And it takes a lot of...
Trevor's amazing. There. Yeah. Trevor, you got your shout out that you've been asking for. It's been done.
Love it. Yeah, Trevor Goins has been awesome.
Me that I never shout him out.
Well, now, Trevor's been crushing, and like, it just makes it so much easier and less stress off of like me and that being in the moment. I told my wife, I was like, she's like, we can't bring the kids because you have responsibilities. I was like, this time I don't. I think I just want to have fun at the conference. Like, I don't even want to speak or present. Like, I want to give the opportunity to other people and just hang out, and enjoy it.
You have to speak. There's like no way. And you need to do a workshop and like the whole conference will show up.
Yeah. I'm probably going to do a workshop or 2, but nothing crazy. Like there's one year where I hosted I emceed like every panel for 2 days, and it was fun, but it was exhausting.
Dude, I did a bunch last time and I was beat.
It's exhausting.
It's really, really tiring. Now, last time you were here on this podcast, we talked about the marketplace, but we couldn't really go too much into it because it was still under wraps. You want to catch everyone up?
Yeah, so we came out of the beta. We launched Attorney Share, which is a marketplace for lawyers to be able to find the best fit for their client, like across the nation. So we came out of the beta June. We're filming right now in August. So with the marketplace Attorney Share, the vision was always to easily be able to partner with the best lawyer for your client, right? So we launched out of the beta June, maybe late May. We already have 1,000 lawyers on the platform. Wow. Yes. And every state is now represented, and we have like 40 practice areas on there. It is, personal injury, employment, mass tort heavy, but there's family law lawyers on there, business operations, there's business disputes, probate, like there's a lot of SSDI disability lawyers on there. But it takes out of like our pain point of people texting you all the time. I need a referral for this person in North Carolina.
I still text you.
I know, and I do you too. And then we have to find somebody and send it to them.
So annoying. Now
it's just like, here, just go to the profile on Attorney Share, and then it'll track your deal for you, do your fee share agreement, and you can see all of it. We build integrations now with every case management platform. So I can go to the local service ads we do with you, for instance, with LawRank.
Yeah.
So we do our SEO LSAs with LawRank. It goes to form fills, qualified. It goes directly into our case management platform. And within there, on our matter option, we can send the case directly into Attorney Share. So these cases that we were turning down, we can still monetize. So if it's an employment case, which I do not do, if it is a mass tort, which I do not do, if it is medical practice, which I do not do, I find the specialist in that region straight from the LSA, because they're filling out that questionnaire that goes into our case management system, then ports the data into Attorney Share, and we track all of it.
That's amazing. Yeah. You had told me I could do this, but I need to set it up. I want to create like who I would refer. I mean, I know I'm not a lawyer, but like people ask me all the time, like, who do you have here or there? I need to create that list.
Because we call them waterfalls, where you can set predetermined right of first refusal for your top 3 options, either geographic, so whatever it is. So like in Georgia, like I have like Jen Gore's first and like Ali Salimi, Joe Freed, like I have this whole thing.
I love all of them.
Yeah, I know, but they're all great people. And it's just like, but I want to be able to push the cases to them quickly so they can review it, decide whether or not they want to work on it, do our fee share agreement, and then run.
But see, for me, it's like people text me all the time, and I would love to just send them a link where it's like, well, here's who I recommend. Like, if everybody just had my list and could just go to it.
We should do that. White Label Maria's list.
Yeah, I want to do, and I would honestly just even post it, like put it on my.
We can't do Megan's list though. Just Maria's list.
Who's Megan?
It's a list for sex offenders. Maria. That's a joke for the listeners. A deep dive.
That I clearly didn't get. I'm like, what is that? I'm so innocent. See?
I know you are.
Yes. Okay. Now you have a book.
Oh yeah.
Out.
I have a book on how to try a spine injury case because that's most of what I've tried. I mean, I've had 7 or 8 figure verdicts like 30 times. I just run of the mill rear end car crashes with spine injury cases like fusions or discectomies. So I wrote a book on how to litigate it and how to go all the way through trial. Trial Guides is publishing it. I've been working for 3.5 years. And yeah, I know it's a long process. But we had a few medical doctors that are radiologists, interventional radiologists, write a couple chapters in the book. So we had to get a lot of the medical terminology, be able to pull all that stuff too, to tie it all together. So Trial Guides will release that at the end of 2024. I literally just sent them a bunch of people the manuscript last week so they could read it and write a few blurbs because they want a few forewords and a few testimonials. And then I have to name the book. I want to name it Small Disc Energy. Mm-hmm. They're not letting me do that. And I said, I already got the handle. If you go on Instagram, it's already claimed by somebody.
That would have been great. Who's not letting you? Trial
Guides are like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right.
They are right.
I like the defeating degenerative disc disease is good because that's usually an SEO term. People would look to how to win these cases.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely naming one of the chapters Small Disc Energy.
Are you really?
I sure hope so.
I freaking love it. I'll promote it. Just let me know.
It'll be good. But yeah, it's just like a Bible on how people can win these cases.
How do you have time to do all this shit? Like Justice HQ, Law-Di-Gras, attorney share, your firm, 3 children, a wife, like a book now? You
just have to be conscious with your time and like do what's important for that day or that week. Or
and you don't take phone calls, so that helps.
I do not take phone calls. If anybody's watching, don't call me. Text me. If you call me, it's rude. Like it's convenient for you, but I'm in the middle of like 12 different things.
I'm still gonna call you.
But you always text me and say, "Can you talk?" And then I'll say yes, and if I'm available, yes.
Lately, I've been better. Yeah.
But if people call me and I think it's an emergency, I do pick up. If it's like,
yeah.
But if it's one of my lawyers that has a question, they could text me. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I had to drop 12 different things on the front burner because you had a question about something that you could have just texted me. I could have answered with less time on my time.
And what happens when Mauro calls you? Do you think he's in trouble?
Who?
Mauro.
I always pick up Mauro's call. Well, most of the time if I'm available. It's usually him just to bullshit about something because he's in his car, but at least it's entertaining. And then he complains when I don't pick up his call. I think he's the most entertaining
person
that
I know. I'm not even kidding. His stories are gold.
And he doesn't even mean to be like entertaining, but that's just who he is.
No, he does.
Yeah, he does.
You don't think he means it? Like,
of course he does.
He has to. He knows like that's like what he has going for him.
Did you see somebody sent him a T-shirt that says it looks like one of those political posters, and it says Simon Fiore 24 and Bourbon We Trust.
No.
Yes. So somebody sent it to him. So now we're gonna make these and give them out at Law-Di-Gras. I don't know. He doesn't even know who sent it to him.
Oh my God.
That's really funny.
He would not know. Speaking of Bourbon of Proof, you just had me on.
I did. We just released it.
That was really fun.
That was a good episode. We had actually one of the whiskeys we had on there, Chicken Cock, which I love, reached out to me because we did that episode.
Really?
And I tagged them. Yes. So I'm trying to get Chicken Cock to sponsor the show.
That's
Not only do they have
really
a great name, their whiskey's very good.
They do have a great name. I think that was the one that was my favorite.
That was
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Nice. That was a good one.
I had a headache like literally 30 minutes after I drank with you guys. I'd never had bourbon. Literally instant hangover. I will never do it again.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Unless I come back.
You have to drink it every day. And then, yes, that's the medicinal aspect. It actually started as a medicine. People was like, I like never get sick. And it's like, people are like, how does it never happen? You're never sick. I'm like, well, because I drink alcohol every day.
Yeah.
It sanitizes your system. Salt water and bourbon cures everything.
Yeah. Huberman would not agree with this.
Well, he has to do a lot of podcasts on how to stay healthy. I just solved it for him in two things. Pretty easy.
Now, let's talk about podcasting for a minute because so many people tell me they want to start a podcast. They ask how I do it, the setup, and then I feel like maybe people think I'm bullshitting when I'm like, I don't want to discourage you. I love, love, love doing the podcast, but it is so much fucking work. And I have a team. You have a team. Like, I can't imagine people that try to do this without a team.
So when people do without a team, it looks like they do not have a team and it doesn't look or present well. But first, like, people got to think about when you're starting a podcast, you're doing media, what is the purpose of it? Why are you doing it? If you think you're going to do it and just have these, create a YouTube channel and make money from YouTube doing it, it's not going to work. You have to do it for a different intent. When I started doing podcasts years ago, the Justice Team Network, or Justice Team Podcast, the first one, we just want to give free education and have fun. So we'd have on guests, we'd use it for like a networking opportunity to meet new people, produce it, put it out there. And then all of a sudden, I had a bunch of law students reach out to me like, I watch every episode, I listen to every episode. Well, shit, we'll do more. So we've been doing it for so long that we have a lot of dedicated listeners and viewers that are now lawyers. So we just said, let's do a little bit more fun and do a highly produced thing with Bourbon of Proof and some of the other shows. We have like a whole recording studio in our Torrance office now, but it is a lot of work. But the intent was always never to monetize it in that moment, not to have sponsors on it, but to use it as a networking opportunity and use it to generate cases because people would see us. We're an expert in this space. I get a lot of referrals from the podcast. A lot.
I bet.
But that's what people, and then you also use it for not only, what are you going to do after you shoot, right? People are like, okay, I shot a podcast. What do I do? Just put it on like Apple or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's one place, but now you have what I call evergreen content, where you can chop those up, bake them into shorts, put them on YouTube, put them on Instagram, put them on TikTok, and repurpose them. So
That's
it's like,
what we do.
yeah, but you should be doing it. But now we have a full-time person. That's all that they do. And it's a lot of work because you have to tag the right people. You have to engage those folks, but it works.
Yeah.
But you grow into it, right? So if you're going to shoot a podcast, you could literally do it with you could do it online with like Riverside, I think one of them's called.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love the online ones because
I don't.
The audio sucks.
And like sometimes the camera sucks or like people's backgrounds like look shitty or they're doing it. I've had people do it on their freaking phones. I don't think you can connect with the person the same way. Like I just had Mike Morse on and like he got kind of vulnerable and I don't think I would have been able to get him
he's wearing
there.
shorts. I thought I saw him come up here in shorts. Is he wearing shorts?
Yeah. I was in gym clothes.
Wow.
Like literally, because he was like, it has to be before 11. And I was like, had just walked into the gym and I was like, fuck, fine, we'll do it right now. It's like,
we'll do it live.
Yeah, we just did it. But the point is like, I wouldn't get that type of like response from him if it had been online. And the content, like the reels, they don't look as good when it's like.
No, they don't. And they have to be visual. So another thing, like whenever you're doing social media, you have to be, how are things going to work? Like sometimes I'll do a reel and I'll get like 1,000 or 2 views. Sometimes I'll do a reel and get millions of views. And it's just sometimes the luck of the draw, but sometimes
I never get millions of views.
I've done it the past month. I've had 2 that have gone crazy.
Really?
And neither of them were podcasts. It was just like filmed on my iPhone. Like I put
your content's good though. Like you're very like chill about it and genuine and like I feel like you don't overthink it, like you're just having fun with it.
So what I started doing is like I have somebody just follow me around for a day and just ask me questions and do interviews and they film it very well. And they're starting to put that out there and that content's crushing because it looks good, but it's just like it's not like an orchestrated sit down interview. It's just like on the fly doing things. It's kind of like what Gary Vee does whenever he goes to conferences and talks to people and they have that content. I love that. And I think that's where you get the most, I don't know, but it's a lot of work. People want to put out content. You can create a shit ton of money doing it because you get a lot of referrals. You get top of mind all the time, but it's work. It's like anything else. You have to be dedicated to why you're doing it, where you're putting it, and conscious of what your brand is. Because I do think brand is paramount because whenever people reach out to a lawyer, if they feel like they already know that lawyer, conversion is going to be way higher because they're looking for that person.
Totally.
So if you are a brand that people are looking for, it's more likely you're going to sign that case. And you can compete in this great consolidation that's happening where a lot of private equity money's coming into the space, law firms are buying one another. But if you stand out as your own independent brand, that has significant value. So you have to be conscious of what is the brand you're putting out there. Are you easy to reach? Do people want to work with you? And if you're just putting like fucking cat videos out there, just putting comedy, like, okay, that's cool. Like every once in a while I do comedy ones, but like that can't just be your brand. Why would somebody hire a lawyer just does cool cat videos?
I mean, some people do though. There are some lawyers that are just doing like, I think, just comedy.
They are. Some of the meme accounts just do comedy, but does that convert into?
I mean, would you consider Top Dog comedy?
No. Well, no. Top Dog does very intentional marketing, educating people on like funny legal issues.
Okay.
But
so
you can
don't
see the
consider
interactions.
that comedy.
No.
So what do you mean by comedy?
I mean, like people that just do like meme accounts.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean,
no, absolutely, that's not gonna do shit. No.
You can now meme accounts can be monetized because a lot of people are doing it and sharing it, and you can get like I know some that get sponsorship deals with some of like the tech companies to post their stuff. That exists.
That's really cool.
But you're not getting the biggest ROI, which is case referrals.
Yeah. What I like about Bourbon of Proof is that in an era of like fast, cheaply produced content, it's like the exact opposite. So I almost feel like you almost have to like go against the grain sometimes to like stand out.
What's if somebody just like a lawyer, trial lawyer from Orange County just texted me and just says, looks like your kind of place. And he should just at a whiskey bar in Ireland. And people just sending me photos.
I think everybody thinks
I just saw my Apple Watch just popped up.
Everybody thinks of you with bourbon.
Why? Intentional. Brand.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of, sharing a lot of whiskey and bourbon with lawyers because they love it. And so do I. So we do cases together and it's fun. But if you pick a brand, pick something you like, right? If you want to be known for like oil explosion cases, do it. Like you should be known as like the oil explosion lawyer and do that kind of content. Just have oil on your face. I would do like the Beverly Hillbillies doing like spoofs about the shit. I should actually be I'm gonna do a new brand. It's gonna be Big Oil Bob. You like it?
No.
You don't like it?
No.
I could be out there on like oil rigs and it'd be cool.
Try it.
Okay.
I think it would do well. I just don't like it.
I'll get Warren Moon, some of the old Oilers. You don't even know Warren Moon, but some of the old Oilers will come out. Oh, God, it'll be sick. Or the Edmonton Oilers. There's two. You get Canadian Oilers. You get Houston Oilers. It'd be pretty good. I think my dad he likes that idea. He's shaking his head.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
He looks it. He got that Texas tea.
Yeah. So I have a bone to pick with you.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay, pick it.
So you keep saying that I'm mean.
You are mean.
Not to you, though.
Not to mean. Well, people think you're short because you're short and to the point that you're mean.
But I am short.
We are literally short. But we
okay.
just downstairs, you came down. First thing out of your mouth, like one of our buddies is wearing somebody else's branded sweatshirt that he picked up at the conference. First thing in your mouth is take that off. But it's funny, but that's who you are. And he literally took it off. You're like, you don't have to take it off. I was like, I told you she's mean.
But see, that's not mean.
It's not mean, but it's to the point because you're real. Because people sometimes, I like it. I think I just tease you because I think it's funny. But
I know, but you got to stop because then people start to believe that I'm
But it's
mean.
a good thing because people are intimidated by you.
Well, I can't do anything about that.
No, but that's a good thing.
Maybe.
You want that.
Why?
Because you want people to fear and respect you rather than think you're a pushover.
Well, yeah.
You'd make a good queen in those like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You'd fucking crush.
I think so too.
Yeah. Off with her head.
Yeah, I like it. I've been watching, what's the new one? House of Dragons. Have you watched it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's good, but it's not as good.
It's not as good as, no.
No.
But it is good.
It's still really good.
Yeah.
It's just Game of Thrones was so fucking complicated.
It was.
It was honestly like 10 shows in one, and they all just start to intertwine.
There's all the characters that you have to watch with subtitles or else you have no chance.
Oh, it's so hard.
You have no chance.
I've been thinking about starting it over because I don't think I remember it as well anymore.
But they're going to do another show after this. So you're going to have to start to do this linear thing because they went back with this one and they got to figure it out.
It's like Yellowstone. I
haven't watched Yellowstone yet.
What?
I know. Sacrilege. I got to get into it. I got other shows I got to watch, okay? We're on the new Descendants that just came out.
The new Descendants.
Oh, God, you got to watch Descendants. It's like a Disney thing where they sing and they're kids in high school. They're the kids of the...
This does not sound appealing.
Oh, you would actually love it.
Is it for kids?
For kids, but it's highly entertaining.
Descendants.
Yeah.
How many?
Beast and Belle or the king of the city and all. It's like the villains live on this island. They're castaways and the villains' kids are trying to get into the good island. It's very good. Maleficent's daughter is one of the heroes. It's great.
I don't know why this reminded me of last time we talked about you being on the whatever game show.
Oh, yeah.
I really think you should have something like a game show at Law-Di-Gras.
See, look, if I had a lot more time on my hand, I would just do fun shit like that all the time. I wanted to do
so good.
Do a game show, imagine a really funny Jeopardy. And it was just pictures of you name this lawyer and this lawyer was disbarred for XYZ. Ding, 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 Daily Double. Okay. That'll be epic. I also want to do an award show, like an old MTV award show.
Why don't
sliming
you?
People. I don't got the time. Look, soon, I would like to do something like this the next year or two, but I'd love to do an end of the year award show and just shit on people. But funny, right?
Yeah. I really think you should.
Yeah. This year's worst reel goes to, and it'd just be somebody that really had a really bad reel. They'd probably go to Dan Ambrose. Remember when he had the hand signal thing? I actually, you asked me, it was like, Dan, what the fuck is this, man? Or like it would be something like that. We'd have like a giant cane, like a candy cane that would pull people off stage if they did their acceptance speech too long and slime them. No, we'd oil them.
Oh God,
Big Bob Oil would oil them.
Okay,
that's it.
I'm already not like.
You would tar and feather them because the evil queen. Oh, this is checking out.
I already have anxiety over this. Like I'm gonna get oiled and slimed. I don't handle that well. Well, actually, I don't know.
I don't think most people do.
Yeah.
Being tarred and feathered. Is it tarred and feathered?
I don't know, but I know what you mean. I can picture it.
Okay. We could probably put that on this reel. Somebody getting tarred and feathered.
You
can tar and feather. Tar and feather, not tarred. Tarred and feathered. Tarred and feathered. Hey, I got the thumbs up from my dad.
Your dad is so cute.
He is.
Okay, speaking of reels, where the hell and how did you come up with Planetfunbob? It makes no fucking sense.
Well, here it is. So one of my good friends, Tom Conroy, who's a partner at our firm that does all the complex cases, we actually went to college together. I've known him since 18 years old. And he had this saying we were in law school, we're just out young lawyers, and he called me Planetfunbob, and he was like, because when Planetfunbob's in your orbit, everybody's having fun. So like whenever I was around, it would just be, he's like, we'd be subsumed by your orbit, and everybody would be pulled to your gravitational force, and he just called me Planetfunbob. But he's the only one that would call me that. So then when I got into Instagram, like my name's Robert Simon, everything was fucking taken. So I was like, Planetfunbob. Oh, nobody had Planetfunbob? Sweet.
Go figure.
So
that's kind of cute though.
It is fun. So everybody now, people see me out like at these conferences, like Planetfunbob. They know me as Planetfunbob. But whenever I was work a lot with Teresa and Outlier Creative Agency, and we were coming over with ideas, and like we were doing the Bourbon Approved show, and she was like, I think we probably have to change. One of their creative directors, like we should probably change to something other than Planetfunbob. And I was like, no. That was a hard line. We're not changing. And I'm glad we didn't, because it's like it's like the brand.
And you have like a little symbol, no? Where it's like your face, but it looks like on a world or something.
And they designed that logo too. And I was like, just run with it. Be different, right? Because it's everybody's like, get John, text Sammy or whatever, or Attorney Bob. It's like, do something fun, man. But I think you do need, and I wrote an article on this in a peer-reviewed published journal called The Advocate about your personal brand, how it's important, how you network, and how you monetize it. And one of the things I talk about on social media is whatever your brand is, you have to make people know what it is, and you have to be easy to reach out to and find. Like I just spoke at a conference, and I can see all the new followers I have because they're at this conference. And I go and check on their profiles, and a lot of these lawyers don't have, they're private. It doesn't tell me where they are or what they do. I was like, guys, you're missing a golden opportunity, because I could have maybe referred you a case, but I had to like do a deeper dive to figure out where you are, what you practice. Now you could have a private account, and you could have a business facing one.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And that's fine. But people, you got to be easy to reach, or else you're missing like an opportunity to make a potential 8-figure case because somebody reached out to you, or somebody saw you or remembered you're easy to reach out to. So we're always one case away from retirement in our industry, if you want it to be.
But is that a good thing?
Yeah.
You think? I can't imagine you retiring.
Never.
See, that's a thing. I think people need to do something with their lives.
But you do what you enjoy. Like I generally enjoy helping people and doing media. So I'm going to have, like my plan is with the Justice Team Network to help a lot of people create their shows, create their brand, and have this whole like media network. That's where I think my future is. And I do want to do political stuff eventually, but I think I could do that through the network and things like that.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this network.
Okay.
Where can you find it?
Well, Justice Team Network is on, all the social media profiles. It's on YouTube. It's its own channel on Apple. But we have like a lot of partner sister shows. Your show's on one of them. We have a full-time team now that one team just does all the editing for the YouTube shorts, repurposing them like 5 to 10 a day. And they're really funny because I get updates all the time on my phone when new ones come out. And like there's shit that we did, because I'm sometimes really drunk on these shows and I forget, but especially ones that were 30 episodes ago. And there's some gold in there. Like there was a one where Mara was talking about like his dual citizenship with Sarah Williams, and she was calling him the prince. It was really funny and I forgot about it. But these things keep popping up. And now it's like my kids like to watch them. They're like, oh, tomorrow comes up. Yeah. And they're like, they know that stuff. But you think it's your legacy too, because your kids are going to find this stuff later. And like, I'm going to do an episode with my dad. He did it on our podcast. But imagine having your grandkids be able to watch their grandpap on TV.
That's
right?
really
It's really cool.
Or even like, because like we never had this, right? So imagine like 5 generations in, 7, 10. It's like, we can't do that. Like I wonder about my ancestors. Like I I don't know anything. Because
how cool would it have you to see your grandpa be interviewed and be able to watch it? It'd been awesome, right?
Amazing. My husband and I talk about this all the time. Like, we have so many videos of our kids. Like, we have like a couple of pictures of us as kids. Our kids' whole lives are like recorded, which is like really cool.
No, I went checked my that ancestry line, the family tree on ancestry.com, and it ended up being a straight line, so I stopped looking.
What do you mean?
It's just a joke. Matt got it.
I don't get it. Someone explain to me.
It's an incest joke.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Here, this is for the B-roll. This is like the edited part. See, I'm going to like...
Oh, no, we're keeping this.
Yeah, that's good.
Everyone's going to be like, Maria gets no jokes. Like, has she lived?
Well, that's because people don't realize like English is your second language. And you don't get a lot of the sarcasm. So that's why some people think that you're mean, but you really don't get it.
That's it. I'm just dumb. Just don't get
Come on.
Like,
just a Mexican blonde.
Yeah.
So I think you know how good of a relationship or friend you have by the length of your phone conversation. If your phone conversation is like 30 seconds, that's a really good friend and relationship because you get to the point, you talk what you need to do, and you get off. And sometimes people call you and it's like, you know, your day, you got a lot of shit going on, juggling a lot of things. People call you and be like, so how's the family? Great. Like, it's great, but let's get to the point we're talking about rather than the pleasantries. Well, how's the weather there?
Oh,
fucking great. I don't know. What's small talk? Like we had this thing when we were in college and you come back from spring break and everybody was like, well, how was your break? I just be like, break-tastic. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, but I think you and I are like a horrible combo because we're like both so to the point that our conversations are literally 30 seconds.
No, 30 seconds max.
And it's
this, okay.
And
fine.
we cover so much. Like even right now, right? We're like 30 minutes into the podcast and we've covered everything. Like we're like, okay, yeah, we touched on everything we wanted to touch on.
It's this thing like, I was thinking about this with my dad the other day. Like we were on the airplane, the car here,
Were you scared?
3.5 airplane ride. I hate flights. You know that about me. But like we were measuring actually our blood pressure on our iWatches. And there's a lot of turbulence. I looked at mine, it was like 110. My dad was at 50. Show me he had a 50. I was like, you're such a jerk. But like I was thinking, like we were on the airplane the whole time. We drove like it was probably an hour with traffic to get to the hotel. And we didn't even talk much. But that's like the best time with like your dad. There's an old saying like my dad drove cross country when the one time when he retired, he retired from UPS the next day. I flew from LA to Pittsburgh. We got in the car, we drove straight. We didn't stop. We took turns sleeping. We didn't stop anywhere. It was awesome. But we probably said like 10 words to each other. Best time we ever had. Right? And that's the relationship you can have.
I love people that I can be quiet with.
Yeah, that's actually good. That's powerful.
Yeah. I mean, that means that like, I think that that's how you know that you get along with someone.
I agree. Because you don't have that nervous, I got to talk to be like, But we do that. I do that in cross-examination a lot. Sometimes silence is your best friend.
Oh, in sales, it's the best.
Oh, I never put it
to
to sales. I like that.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like Chris Voss, I think he talks about it too.
Interesting.
Yeah. I love doing it.
Oh.
My team laughs because I'm so good at it.
Just that pregnant pause.
I start looking up. I probably shouldn't be saying this because people are going to be like, you've done that to me.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a cross-examination. If you just ask a question and they answer, then just don't ask another question for a while and just look at them.
I love it.
They always get nervous and they just start offering more information.
Sounds so much fun.
It is.
Sometimes I wish I had been a lawyer.
Cross-examination is like, I don't do drugs, but that's my high.
Oh, I bet it's so much fun.
Yeah. That's my wife last trial I did. She was like, you come home like you're alive. Like it's the most excited I've ever, because I'm pretty much a low energy dude. But it's exciting. That's exciting.
You're like a happy low energy dude.
I am a happy low energy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but I agree with you on the phone calls. Like, I actually just hate it when people are like, they're like, call me about this. And it's like, can we text?
Yeah.
Like most of the time, it doesn't require a fucking phone call. I'm sorry.
It doesn't. There's people say like, give me a call. I'll just put Ray. Like, let me know what it's about. Or else we're going to waste each other's time. I started this one thing, like one of our companies, like I don't want to take the meeting unless there's an agenda tied to it, because I'm not going to waste my time with like 10 other people's time within the company unless there's an agenda tied to it.
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be a reason why we're having this meeting.
I'm
agree. Also big on recording the meetings so that people can all see what they were about and using the AI summaries to see what they were about. So as a CEO or founder of a company, I could check in on Friday and see all the meetings that happened, the high level information, and decide whether or not I need to do an action item on that.
That's something that I'm struggling with my team. I will literally be like, you're giving me too much information. Like, I don't need to know the intricate details of how your call went, like, or whatever it is. I'm like, can you just high level, like big picture. What do I need to know?
Yep.
And I think they get like a little bit like, and I feel bad because I'm like, it's not that I don't want you to like vent, but like my time is valuable. Like I can't, and so is their time. Like I don't like to just spend time like, I don't know. I feel like people are, you know what my biggest annoyance about Mexico was? Like you wouldn't last a minute in Mexico. They are so long-winded.
Oh, I would hate that.
It's literally, you ask like, can I get a table? And the answer they give you, you don't even know if it's a yes or a no. No. This happened to me once where I was like, I don't understand. And then she repeats this long, intricate thing about how they have all these people coming. And I was like, is that a yes or a no? You know, or like an employee the other day asked me if they could like start their shift earlier. And I was like, yes, you can. And then she kept explaining why she needed it. And I was like, yes.
Just gave the answer.
You can. And she kept going. And I was like, hey, I'm not trying to be rude. I've already approved this. Like, if I had an issue with it, I wouldn't have approved it. Can we please move on from this subject?
Whatever the trial lawyers in her office is like that, where he overthinks everything and asks a million questions, even though somebody's answered the same question for him many times. My dad's going to laugh, but he's already rolling his eyes because he knows it. But my dad has a saying. He's like, he'll actually lose an argument with himself. You give him long enough, like just goes on and on. But like, yeah, you got the answer. It's the right answer. Move on. Like people, I have this thing like 85% is good. Like you don't have to be perfect in a lot of things. Some things you do. I think in trial, you should be perfect as much as you can. But a lot of business decisions, people overthink and are too slow to move because they want to be perfect. Just do 85% and go. If it doesn't work, shift and change it, right? So people just overthink shit to death, especially lawyers. It's just they get overly analytical about stuff.
I could see that. I feel like I'm actually more patient with lawyers because I get that they don't understand my space and like they've been like screwed over so many times. But like with my team, I'm like less patient. I'm like, what do I need to know? Like, that's it. Like, no need to chitty chat.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why people think I'm mean, but I'm also like, I try to be really efficient because your time becomes so valuable. You know, especially as like we get older and our kids are getting older, it's like, I just want to get to the point and I just want to be efficient, right? Like, is that so hard?
No, it's not. I think people should be like that.
But I think for most people, it is really hard.
I think a lot of people, it's hard for them because they're not comfortable with that person or they feel insecure in that relationship. So they feel like they have to mask it by asking a lot of questions or filling in the space. And I just don't. And so I get a lot of questions every day, sometimes to an annoying degree. And when questions are just like, shit, you already know, and a rhetorical question, I just shake myself like, come on, like, you're really asking me this question? Like, you don't even care about the answer. You're asking the question just to start a conversation of which don't even need to be had, right? The silence is okay.
Yeah, I could see that. But see, this is why people think I'm mean, because I don't want to have like long-winded, like random conversations.
But here's the difference. If you were a man, you'd be a badass. They just think you're mean because you're a woman.
Oh, they think I'm a bitch. Like, let's just say it. Like, zero issue saying.
I was going to say wench.
You could say that.
I still like medieval Maria because I could see you as a queen. Just like,
thank you. That's a compliment.
Cutthroat. Yeah.
But you are so right. If I was a guy, like nobody would flinch. They would be like, oh, he's so direct. He's so efficient. Like he knows what he wants.
Oh, you know who I met today?
Who?
Who I love now? John Romano, because I watched your episode.
Yeah.
We talk about the family stuff. That dude's awesome.
He's
I've never met him before.
Amazing.
Like we've emailed or talked, but I've never met him. He's awesome.
He's so amazing. Dude, you gotta get him to come to Law-Di-Gras.
I would love to get him to Law-Di-Gras. He's the type of dude that like, you know, you have an energy about somebody and just have this welcoming. Like I gave the dude a hug. I never met him. I just gave him a hug because he just like that energy about him.
Well, you guys are similar.
I heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, you guys are similar. I could definitely see some similarities there for sure.
Yeah, I need to do more stuff with John.
I want them to adopt me.
Nice.
They're the sweetest. Like
that's what everybody says. Yeah,
I love them. I saw them yesterday and I was so happy to see. But he like pranked me yesterday too. Like he's a prankster apparently.
Oh, I like that. My daughters are big into learning all the pranks that me and my brothers played as kids. So they're asking my mom the other day, she's over for my youngest birthday, about all the pranks me and my brother used to. And she was like telling her all this stuff. And I could just see my oldest daughter's eyes lighting up of all the things she could do to fuck with us. I was like, oh God. My wife heard it. She's like, don't give her any more ideas. Like, because we used to do some really fucked up shit.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
My brother would do pranks that would last years before the punchline and just lay in wait. Lay in wait. So,
can you think of one?
I'll tell you a good one. I'll tell you two. Brad, my brother's just like, this is his jam. I mean, I'll tell you like three. So Brad, we also call him like the evil genius. So when we were in high school, there was this big scandal because there was this underground newspaper called the Village Idiot. And the Village Idiot would have like these raunchy top 10 lists. It would have like 4 different authors that were writing these stories, and it was going to detail. Like one time, like the men's soccer team got lice. And he did, well, there's this whole long article about like, oh, it was like salacious.
Gossip Girl or like with Bridgerton. What's the fucking show I can't pronounce? Bridgerton.
Yeah.
And there's like Lady.
I don't watch. I know what it is, but I don't watch that show.
Same concept. Like
more medieval Maria over here.
Okay. I should start like a.
There's your brand.
Yeah.
Off with their head. So this was going on for like 6 months, and the principal would, you'd go on the loudspeaker. Whoever's writing the Village Idiot would be expelled immediately, and like it was this whole scandal. Nobody knew who was doing it, and everybody thought it was me because I was like the outgoing, loud one. I'd be like doing these things all the time. So like there was one. There started to have a lot of heat go down, and like one of our friends, Tim Schwartzmiller, and he was the best basketball player, was captain of our basketball team, and they put all the Village Idiots in because it's hard to distribute them at some point apparently because the heat was on. They had people patrolling the streets and the hallways in our Pittsburgh high school. So they put them all in his locker. So he opened his locker, and after we came after lunch, and all these like newspapers, the Village Idiot fell on him, and then our Spanish teacher, I just remember it clear as day because his locker was right by mine, and he opened the locker. My Spanish teacher, Miss Pucci's there, and she just looks at him. She goes, "Paco," and shakes her head like. But I never knew it wasn't Timmy Schwartzmiller that was doing it. So, one of the reasons she was very disappointed is that there was a top 10 hottest teachers in that top 10, and Miss Pucci did not win #1, and she took it to heart.
I love that.
But and then my Spanish name, people would love this. My Spanish name for senior year, because we were in the advanced Spanish, you could give yourself your name. My name was Angel, because I wanted to pronounce it as anal to start, because of course, why not? So it was anal. And then my last year, I got to pick my name, so it was Gaspacho. So my name was Gaspacho. My brother was Cacahuate, so you could say Caca. My one friend was Poopy Tray, Poopy Desk. One friend who every day, his name was Chicle. Because
I feel like kids don't have this much fun anymore.
Oh God, I hope they do.
I don't think so because of social media. Because all the time that they would spend like thinking of all this like stupid shit to do, they're just on social.
Yeah. Like it's funny. I love Apple Watch. My wife is just sending me photos of all the kids like playing today, like stuff that they're doing. It's the best. Like you just look at your watch and see pictures of your kids. But anyway, so this Village Idiot. So there's all kind of different personalities, authors, and like the principal calls me in the office. He's like, we know it's you. I'm like, it ain't me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And like he tried to shake me down, but it really wasn't me. I had no idea. For 6 months, it was my brother doing all of it.
No.
Him and his other kid, Sean Rogers, we wrote a book together later about sci-fi robots and shit, which you can find on Amazon. So.
Does it sell?
It did. Originally, it was like a top like sci-fi. It was actually about artificial intelligence taking over. This was like we wrote this book 10 some years ago. Fascinating read called A Wonderful World, which I forgot we wrote until right about now. So the Village Idiot, one was Captain Scribble. They had all these different like authors in it. So Brad like had to confess to me because the heat was so on, like I had to be careful. So apparently, because there's a top 10 ways to get laid at homecoming, which people wanted to sue the school. And the #1 ways to get laid was to take this girl that I took. So it was like, what the fuck, Brad? And it was bad. So
what happened?
So he had to shut it down because the heat got too high. And he had to confess to me that he was doing all this. Like, Brad, when were you finding time to do this? And he told me that like every day when I got home after I'd come home from school, I'd have some sort of sports practice, and then I would take a quick nap, and then we'd go work a second job. We were doing telemarketing at the time. So when I would take that nap, this motherfucker was on the computer. He would not even print there. He would take this little floppy disk, go down to like a Kinko's to print it, so nobody knew that where it was. Even he was so afraid it was coming from our little home computer that we had.
This
it was
gold.
Diabolical. And
do
then
you have like a?
I'm sure we have somewhere.
Oh my God, I need it.
And then another prank we did. We let a bunch of rats go in the school. Our thinking was if we let rats go and people thought it was infested, maybe we'd get off for the day. So I'll never forget this one teacher. I never was in his class. It didn't work. We did not get out of school, but it was such like a fun day where teachers, my one friend's mom was our AP English teacher, Miss Petronsky, apparently saw one in the library. People tell the story where she screamed and jumped on a chair. And like there was just, and so the principal, who was like our arch nemesis, we even have a fun relationship. He calls to the office, me and Brad. He's like, I know it was you. I got you guys this time. I know it was you. He was like, they're always trying to catch us. And we were like, and we're like, well, how do you know it's us? Because it's not us. He's like, because we have somebody at the animal pet store and they can identify the two of you bought them. And Brad and I knew we had two of our friends go do it for like accomplices because they would never think it was them. So they went to actually buy the rats and we're the ones who distributed them. We put them in backpacks and let them out in the boys' bathroom. And we knew he was fibbing. So we were just like, we're offended. This is not us. How dare you accuse us of such stuff? But they had to call our parents because like they thought they had us this time. So my dad got so mad. He's here. He's laughing about it. I don't know if he remembers the story, but he threatened to beat up the principal. He's like, how dare you say that my boys did something like this? Like, I'm offended. My dad didn't know we actually did it. So he's like threatening this principal, Mr. Usher.
I love it.
But I saw like years later after we graduated.
Wait, did you get caught?
No, we actually never got caught for any of this. So then we donated like this statue to the school. And it's actually out there from the Simon siblings. It's a big bronze cougar. So we go back for a homecoming game, and I saw who wasn't the principal anymore, Mr. Usher. And he was just sitting on the rail, and I came over the rail of the football game. I was like, you know it was us, right? He goes, I know it was you. And I was like, but I wasn't the village idiot, just for the record. That was my brother, and I had nothing to do with it. And he was laughing.
What was the third one?
The third one, my brother was he was the cartoonist. You can actually find this online. He was the cartoon.
Well, I need this stuff for the reels.
You can find, I can show you the stuff. So
Okay.
we went to George Washington on an academic scholarship. Brad and I, my twin brother, went together, lived together, shared room, all that
That's
stuff.
so cute. I didn't know that.
My brother's one of the most amazing artists. He could freehand anything. It's crazy. Very creative, but he used to do cartoons when we were in high school. So he ended up like, they knew he could do this and he's really funny. So they had the school newspaper called the GW Hatchet, which is a big, I mean, you're in DC, it's political. It's like a big thing that people read. They had him as the cartoonist. He did it anonymously. I forget what his he might have done it himself. I forget, but he would do these funny quasi-political comic book style cartoons, and every month people would look forward to what he was going to do. But he would do shit that was so raunchy and like he started to get protested. So people were like, "Who is Brad Simon?" There's posters all over. Like we're downtown DC, like right by the White House. And people are like, we got to find Brad Simon. Like, how dare he print something? Like, he'd make fun of everybody, including himself. And people were so pissed off at like some of the cartoons he would do. And they found out like where we lived and people were protesting Brad. So if you look, some of the stuff's really funny. Like he did one.
Oh my God, what doesn't he do a legal one?
Dude, if he did one, he would not, it would be all anonymous.
Oh, well, now.
Because it would be so like, he should do one because
we
he would be
all
salacious, but it would be like.
Point.
But people would leak him a lot of information and he would just do cartoons about it.
That's hilarious.
Like he would break like little scandals. But it was cool because we're like there during like 2000 with like the Bush Gore thing. And that was like with the hanging chads at election. Oh, and I forgot about this shit. So I ran for school president of George Washington because the president at the time wanted me to run. And I was like an outsider and doing political stuff. That guy, by the way, he's the first black president of Bermuda. He's the premier. One of my friends is the president of Bermuda. It's his third term.
That's crazy.
By the way, if you're watching, we smoked so much weed and drank so much Steel Reserve together in college. Kudos to you, David Burt. Yeah, he's an awesome human. But he got me to run for president. And like,
did you win?
So here's the thing: is like, I won for a second, and there was like this whole scandal because the other guy had cheated, and they let him off, even because he was like the guy that was the political guy that should have won. And I was just like running as like the fraternity president just to like throw chaos. And there was some controversy, and they kept calling the cops out. Like we got raided by the cops a few times for parties because they didn't want me to win. And something had happened where I had won, but they had changed the ballots or something happened. But the New York Post or the Washington Post picked it up because it was like mimicking what was going on, the real election between Gore versus Bush. It was happening on GW's campus. It was very funny. But I got the last laugh because they actually appointed me to the Supreme Court of the George Washington Council as the only undergrad on there. And I stuck it to them later. So it was good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It sounds like you had so much fun.
We had so much fun. God, I could go. There's so many pranks that, especially Brad, the evil genius. I could tell one off camera what he did to my dad with fantasy football, but that's not appropriate on air.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
That joke took 4 years for him to
I
do that.
gotta have him on. Like, I can't believe I've never had him on.
You got to go to him. You'll see him at Law-Di-Gras. He'll be there.
Yeah, that's when I should record with him.
We should record with him. He's very funny.
Yeah, like, I don't know him. I can't even comment because, like, I always talk to him very, like, briefly.
Well, I could tell you some stuff to talk to Brad about.
Okay.
Crush.
Let's go eat.
Let's eat. Well, thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Bob for everything he shared with us today. If you found this story valuable, please share it with someone you want to see succeed. Subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way to help others discover the show.